Hello everyone, and welcome to Let's Play Mass Effect. Yes indeed, this is the surprise LP I've had in store for everyone. I've been wanting to play this game for a long while. I've never actually played any of the Mass Effect games, and I saw they were having a special sale on both Mass Effect and Mass Effect 2 this weekend, and so I picked up both games. And I'm going to be Let's Playing through them, and also eventually through Mass Effect 3 as well, but I'll also be going sequentially in order. So this is going to be a big project, but I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun. I plan to do it in the first-person perspective, similar to what I've been doing with Morrowind and Skyrim, so I hope that'll prove fairly interesting. In terms of the kind of options I'm going to be going with, I'm not going to be using tutorials, even though I've never played this game before. I've only watched other people LP it. The highest difficulty mode I can do is Veteran, because I just started. I'm not going to auto-level, I don't want targeting assistance, and I'm going to tell my people when to use their power. I'll also have subtitles and auto-saving. I think I've got a pretty good feel for the controls. Hopefully it won't prove too terrible. I'm not really sure what storm means, but whatever. I'll figure it out eventually. And otherwise it looks fairly straightforward. Hopefully there won't be any issues there. Let's see, in terms of input, that's good. Sound, I want to turn down the music a bit. Music tends to be a bit loud. So I think I'm going to change the music settings to make it a little less noisy. But other than that, there we go. I think we're pretty much all set to begin. So let's go through character creation.
Welcome to Alliance Military Database. Classified information requested.
Okay then, let's connect to the database.
Establishing secure connection. Secure connection confirmed.
Okay, we're gonna enter a new ID. Let's see, I'm gonna make a custom mail.
Please log in to access your profile.
His name will be Arthur Shepard. Okay.
Warning, data corruption detected.
Uh-oh.
Please reconstruct profile.
Okay then.
Confirm pre-service history.
Alright, pre-service history. We have three choices: Spacer, Colonist, and Earthborn. Let's go through each one. Spacer, because I've never seen, I mean I've seen other people Let's Play these games, but I've never actually gone through it thoroughly, so, or even done it myself, so. Spacer, both of your parents were in the Alliance military. Your childhood was spent on ships and stations as they transferred from posting to posting, never staying in one location for more than a few years. Following in your parents' footsteps, you enlisted at the age of 18. Colonist, you were born and raised on Mindwar, a small border colony in the Attican Traverse. When you were 16, slavers raided Mindwar, slaughtering your family and friends. You were saved by a passing Alliance patrol, and you enlisted with the military a few years later. Earthborn, you were an orphan raised on the streets of the great megatropolises covering Earth. You escaped the life of petty crime and underworld gangs by enlisting with the Alliance military when you turned 18. Alright, now based off of these options, I think that what I'm envisioning for Arthur is that he is going to be a spacer, a military kid, somebody who always traveled around with his family and pretty much grew up learning about the military and military history. So we're going to say he's a spacer.
Confirm psychological profile.
Alright, now a psychological profile. Let's go through them. Sole survivor. During your service, a mission you were on went horribly wrong. Trapped in an extreme survival situation, you had to overcome physical torments and psychological stresses that would have broken most people. You survived while all those around you fell, and now you alone are left to tell the tale. War hero. Early in your military career, you found yourself facing an overwhelming enemy force. You risked your own life to save your fellow soldiers and defeat the enemy despite the impossible odds. Your bravery and heroism have earned you medals and recognition from the Alliance fleet. Ruthless. Throughout your military career, you have held fast to one basic rule: get the job done. You've been called cold, calculating, and brutal. Your reputation for ruthless efficiency makes your fellow soldiers wary of you. But when failure is not an option, the military always goes to you first. Alright, I am going to say, based off of these choices, Arthur is going to be a war hero. Now, the idea for Arthur as a character was originally conceptualized for Vampire the Masquerade campaign I play with a friend of mine who actually is running one. And yeah, he was a World War I veteran. And I'm going to say War Hero probably fits him best out of these three basic choices. So we're going to say that he was a War Hero. Maybe he accomplished some great deed against the enemy action. I'm not really all that familiar with the Mass Effect's lore and setting, so I don't really know how that happened, but maybe the story will explain it for us. So we're going to go with War Hero.
Confirm military specialization.
Alright, this is what I guess the classes that this game has. Let's look at our choices. Soldiers. Soldiers are combat specialists ideal for the front lines of a firefight. Soldiers get improved health, can train in the use of all weapon types, start with the ability to use medium armor, and can specialize in heavy armor. Engineers. Engineers are tech specialists. Using the holographic Omni tool, they can decrypt security systems, repair or modify technical equipment, disrupt enemy weapons or shields, and heal their squad. Engineers can only use light armor and can only receive weapons trainings with pistols. Adept. Adepts are biotic specialists. Through upgradable implants, they can use biotic powers to lift or throw objects, shield the squad, or disable or destroy enemies. Adepts can only use light armor and can only receive weapon training with pistols. Infiltrator. Infiltrators combine combat and tech abilities to specialize in killing or disabling enemies at long range. Infiltrators are trained to use Omni tools, focusing on decryption and offensive abilities rather than healing. They can use pistols or sniper rifles and medium armor. Sentinel. Sentinels combine biotic and tech abilities. Typically they use biotic abilities and advanced healing skills to defend allies, though they can also disrupt opponents with a biotic or tech attacks. They are most efficient at tech and biotics in other classes, but at the expense of combat. Sentinels can only use light armor and receive no advanced weapon training. Vanguard. Vanguards are biotic warriors. They combine biotics and weapons to take down opponents, and are especially deadly at short range. They use pistols and shotguns and can specialize in medium armor. Interesting. Well, lots of neat choices. I mean, it seems like the first three kind of fit to the mold of warrior, thief, and mage, you know, from more classic fantasy lore. And Infiltrator, Sentinel, Vanguard are kind of like hybrids. Like, these are hybrid warrior mages, from what I can see. This guy is like a hybrid mage thief. Or maybe this one is. Either way, they're all combinations thereof. You know, so I think that's pretty interesting. But as for what I'm imagining for Arthur, being a war hero and a spacer, I'm going to say he's going to be a soldier. He's going to be all about combat, all about fighting. Yes, that's his specialty. I don't really see him having the biotic powers, which is like this setting's version of magic, I suppose. I don't know how else to describe it, really. So we're going to say he's a straight-up, hardcore soldier.
Confirm facial identification.
Alright, well, I want to change his appearance. I don't like the stock look. We can cycle presets or actually manually adjust it ourselves. Let's manually adjust it. Alright, so let's look at our facial structure. Okay, okay, you have different choices you can go through here. Alright, well, let's see. I see Arthur as having kind of a square face. So, something that has a broader jaw. That actually might work back there. No, maybe not. There are a lot of choices, it seems like. That's two sunken cheeks. That might work. Skin tone. And go to light or very dark. I'm seeing him being maybe a little tanner than that. Maybe right about there. Maybe a little bit whiter. Okay. Oh, okay. Apparently, it's quite a bit of a jump from tan to pale. Okay. Complexion. This gives you an idea of what his facial structure is like. He's darker, looks tired, he's wrinkled. All right, I'm gonna say he's pretty young. Let's see. You can also go with different types of scars. It seems like. So we want to give him a nice, ugly scar. If he's a war hero. Now, I'm going to say he's a lucky war hero. He got out without a scratch. The complexion, though, it seems like something is missing here. Maybe it wouldn't have to do with skin tone. Maybe it's the facial structure that does that. The shading. Yeah, that one does seem the best of all of them. Okay. So we're going to go with this, complexion, and the scar. Facial structure, I don't think there's really any other way to adjust it. That looks like the best choice so far. Skin tone, complexion, no scars. Alright, let's focus on changing his head. Alright, his neck thickness. I'm going to say he's a pretty athletic guy, so he's probably going to have a pretty hefty neck. Not that thick, maybe just a little bit thinner. Yeah, right about there. Alright, his face size. This is like filling out how broad his face is. Yeah, I'm going to say that Arthur was big into wrestling and boxing when he was young, and probably lifting weights as well. So I'm going to say he's going to have a larger face size. Probably not quite that big, but maybe something in the middle. On the heavier side, kind of like that. Alright, cheek width. This is like, give you an idea for how big his cheeks are, how flared out they are. Alright, well I'm going to say, maybe not sunken cheeks, but certainly not bulging ones either. Probably just maybe a little thinner like that. Cheekbones? Wow, surprisingly complicated. Alright, I'm going to say maybe a little, maybe just like that. That seems reasonable to me. Cheek gaunt. This is how sunken your cheeks are. You can make them very gaunt, or, and it affects, like, the fullness of your features. I'm going to say probably maybe mid-range should be good. His ear size. It basically just changes how big his ears are. Say, decently sized ears. Nothing crazy. Ear orientation. Whether they're flared out or not. Maybe just a little bit lower. Kind of like that. Seems reasonable to me. Alright. Check his eyes. Eye shape. Wow, there's so many details here. Alright. Well, he's certainly not Asiatic, so it's not like he's gonna have, like these slanted eyes. It seems like default might be the best choice. The other eye options look kind of strange. Yeah. Eye height, you can change the position on his face. Middle of the road is probably good. Eye width. How wide his eyes are apart. You can do some pretty funny things with this, actually. Alright. I guess middle of the road would probably look the most sensible. Eye depth. Whether they're sunken into your face or not. Again, middle of the road. Brow depth. Where his eyebrows are aligned. Let's make them a little higher up. Brow height. Oh no, the depth, it made it look like. Oh, okay, that's how sunken it is. Yeah, that seems okay. Something about the eye width doesn't seem quite right. Okay. Brow height. Alright, there we go. That looks okay, I think. Iris color. Whether they're darker. The color of his irises. Let's see, I originally conceptualized him with just dark brown eyes. Well, maybe I can put a hint of green in there, or like amber almost. That's pretty dark. It's kind of hard to tell, really. That's kind of a reddish hue. That's light. Yeah, that seems okay. Alright. Let's adjust his jaw real quick. Alright, I'm gonna say he's got a decently sized chin. His chin has some depth to it. It's definitely kind of a big chin, square jaw kind of guy. Chin width, I'm gonna say it's pretty damn wide. Not enormously so, but decent. And his jaw is also very square, so probably on the higher end, like that. Alright, good. We've got the jaw. It's just his mouth. And it's taking a lot of modification. Alright, different styles of mouth. Alright. Default mouth looks fine to me. Mouth depth. How deep it is in his face, whether his lips are puffy. I'm gonna say middle of the road is fine. Mouth width. Mouth width. Let's tweak that a little bit. Alright, this is kind of an odd way to start the LP, but it seems to be working, I guess. Alright, that seems fine. Mouth lip size. How puffy your lips are. I'm gonna say his lips are probably gonna be a bit thinner. Mouth height, just how high up. That's funny. Like he's smirking or something. Alright, we're gonna go with normal. Okay. There we go. Alright, his nose. Let's work on his schnoz. You can make different shapes with it. All these different nose configurations. Pointy nose, fat nose, thin nose, pointy nose, thin nose, normal nose. How do we imagine his nose? Not that flared out, not that thin, certainly not that thin, or that thick. The default nose? No. Maybe this one. It's just a bit... No, it's too bulbous. That one's bulbous and flared. That one is thin. That one is thin without much of a bridge. That one's thick and pointed. I mean, he has this pretty square jaw, and people who do that tend to have bigger noses. Not necessarily, but... maybe something like that. No, no, not quite. Just the nose is too wide. That's the problem. Maybe that one, it's too hooked. That one actually looks quite a bit better. And you can make it very high or very low and just kind of add a comic effect to that. No, it looks so distorted when you do that too. Alright, I'm gonna keep it down there. That makes sensible. And then how deep it is or how far out it is. I'm gonna say really normal. Okay. There we go. Alright, let's make his hair. Does he have a beard? Oh, we can give him a beard. Alright, mustache, chin beard, another mustache. Kind of a... that. I'm not really seeing what the beard is there. I don't really see much of anything. Oh wait, it's supposed to be just a 5 o'clock shadow, I guess. Fu Manchu, chin beard, mustache, and then of course the full beard. Alright, I'm gonna say that Arthur, in proper soldier fashion, he keeps it clean shaven. Because, I mean, I would give him a mustache, but the mustaches that they provide for you, they're not real good military mustaches. I'm not impressed with what I see. Alright, and brow. Oh, you can actually change the way the brow looks. You can give him no brow. That's funny. I'm gonna say he's got probably pretty big and bushy eyebrows, so maybe something like... that actually looks pretty good, because that one looks kind of fuzzy. Yeah, everything else looks weirdly hooked. And that one seems the best. Now his hair. Oh, you can actually give him a decent amount of hair, or just make him bald. Alright, let's see. That's too short. That might work. No, that's too round. Too spiky. Too frilly. Too square. Flat top. I'm gonna say this one. That actually looks like the best so far. Everything else seems like something out of too military, or too... I mean, he is military, of course, but too fashion model-y. I'm gonna go with something like that. I think that looks pretty good. Hair color. It's certainly not blonde or a redhead. Kind of imagine him having dark hair. Not like... how dark, though? There's straight black, then there's brown, and then there's kind of an in-between, between black and brown. I'd say that's pretty good, actually. Facial hair color. Well, obviously that should match, which means it should be set to the same setting, because he's not the kind to dye it, I think. Alright, very good. Alright, I do believe that looks like a pretty good representation of what I imagine excuse me, his original name was Arthur Phillips when I made the character, but what Arthur Shepard should look like. Alright, let's finalize
Profile
it.
reconstruction complete.
Alright, yeah, he looks pretty beefy. Broad jaw, tight haircut, pretty stern looking. He's a spacer, war hero, and a soldier. Alright, well, let's get into the LP. Accept. And, when the story starts, I'll be reverting to first person again, trying my best to kind of act Arthur's personality out. I hope he's interesting for everyone. Let's get into it. You will be unable to change any settings. That's fine.
Identification confirmed.
Alright, yeah, we're going with veteran. I don't want to auto-level. I don't want targeting assistance, or as little as possible. I want to be able to learn how to use the squad powers properly. I do want subtitles for people's convenience, and auto-saving, of course. Let's go. Oh, that's pretty.
Well, what about Shepard? He's a spacer, lived aboard starships most of his life.
Military service runs in the family. Both his parents were in the Navy.
He proved himself during the Blitz. Held off enemy forces on the ground until reinforcements arrived.
He's the only reason Elysium is still standing.
We can't question his courage.
Humanity needs a hero. And Shepard's the best we've got.
I'll make the call.
In the year 2148, explorers on Mars discovered the remains of an ancient spacefaring civilization. In the decades that followed, these mysterious artifacts revealed startling new technologies enabling traveling to the first stars. The basis for this incredible technology was a force that controlled the very fabric of space and time. They called it the greatest discovery in human history. The civilizations of the galaxy called it Mass Effect.
The Arcturus Prime relay is in range. Initiating transmission sequence.
Commander?
We are connected. Calculating transit mass and destination. The relay is hot, acquiring approach vector. All stations secure for transit. Board is green. Approach run has begun. Hitting the relay in 3, 2, 1. Thrusters, check. Navigation, check. Internal emissions sync engaged. All systems online. Drift, just under 1500K.
1500 is good. Your captain will be pleased.
I hate that guy.
Nihilus gave you a compliment. So you hate him.
You remember to zip up your jumpsuit on the way out of the bathroom? That's good. I just jumped us halfway across the galaxy and hit a target the size of a pinhead. So that's incredible. Besides, Spectres are trouble. I don't like having them on board. Call me paranoid.
You're paranoid. The Council helped fund this project. They have a right to send someone to keep an eye on their investment.
Yeah, that is the official story. But only an idiot believes the official story.
Well, Arthur would say he would agree with that. I mean, he knows that much of military thinking is all about how to deceive the enemy, and sometimes, unfortunately, oneself as well. And the people under you. So he would say, I agree.
They don't send Spectres on shakedown runs.
So there's more going on here than the captain's letting on.
Joker, status report.
Just cleared the mass relay, Captain. Stealth systems engaged. Everything looks solid.
Good. Find a comm buoy and link us into the network. I want mission reports relayed back to Alliance brass before we reach Eden Prime.
Aye, aye, Captain. Better brace yourself, sir. I think Nihilus is headed your way.
He's already here, Lieutenant. Tell Commander Shepard to meet me in the comm room for a debriefing.
You get that, Commander?
I heard.
I'm on my way.
Is it me or does the Captain always sound a little pissed off?
Only when he's talking to you, Joker.
Oh, wow, that was definitely not what I wanted to do. Oh dear. Well, let me fix this situation. Okay. Well, I just need to orient myself a little bit before we continue on. Okay. We're just gonna break character for a second, folks. I need to, first just save the game. Alright. And, realize what I need to do in order to actually, not cause ridiculousness wherever I go. Alright, so, in terms of learning how to walk, it's the first thing we need to do. Toggle movement speed, Z. Okay. And apparently whenever we use the mouse, it whips our weapons out, so we have to be careful how we do that. So, alright, and apparently there's updates here to the squad. Oh, okay, apparently we can spend points. Okay. I have a number of choices. Alright, well, it seems like what would make the most sense is for to put ranks in soldier, because that's what he is. Alright. Can you put more in? Oh, yeah, okay. 2 in soldier? That seems reasonable. He knows how to use assault rifles and combat armor. What is assault training? Oh, well, yeah, that would seem like it would fit as well. Alright, so there we go. Now that we've assigned those, I think you just hit here, and now you should have been updated. Great. Just as intended. Alright. You're Lieutenant Commander Shepard, Executive Officer on the SSV Normandy. And you are asked to speak to the Captain. Okay. The Codex. Okay, this is where you can view various mission reports, humanity and the Systems Alliance. You can read up about lore. Personal history summary. Yeah, which they describe briefly in the introduction. And these are all the tutorials that I'm skipping just because otherwise they would just be such a pain. Nobody comes here to actually want to watch tutorials. But then again, we'll see how much they're actually needed when I'm trying to figure out, considering I had to look up how to walk. Alright. Primary Codex. Humanity and the Systems Alliance.
The Systems Alliance.
Ah!
Roughly 1,200 years ago, the Turians...
Okay, yeah, apparently it has audio for itself. Good. Great. Let's get back into character. Sorry about that. Z?
I just saw him. He marched by like he was on a mission.
He's a Spectre. They're always on a mission.
And we're getting dragged right along with him.
Relax, Presley. You're gonna give yourself an ulcer.
Congratulations, Commander. Looks like we had a smooth run. You heading down to see the Captain?
Yes, he wants to see me.
I'm on my way to give him a status update right now.
With all due respect, sir, maybe he'll finally tell you what we're really doing out here.
What do you mean?
You think the Alliance brass is holding out on us?
If all we're supposed to do is test out the stealth system, why is Captain Anderson in charge? And then there's Nihilus. Spectres are elite operatives, top covert agents. Why send a Spectre, a Turian Spectre, on a shakedown run? It doesn't add up.
I'll look into it, Presley.
I'll see if I can get some answers when I see him.
Good luck, Commander.
Well, actually, if you have a moment, I have a few questions.
Something I can do for you, Commander?
I was curious about a few things.
You and me both. Like I said before, too many things don't add up on this mission.
So, tell me a bit more about our stealth systems.
What do you know about the stealth systems?
I just know it masks our location from scans and sensors. Cutting-edge technology. The Normandy's the only ship with this prototype drive. But why are we fully staffed? A skeleton crew would be cheaper, less chance of security leaks, too. Plus, there's Nihilus. It's pretty obvious this shakedown run is just a cover.
You think it's a cover, huh?
For what?
Damned if I know, Commander. We're out here on false pretenses. I'm not a fan of being left in the dark.
Neither am I. So what do you think about the Captain?
Do you have a problem with the Captain?
No, sir. But I can't figure out what he's doing here. Captain Anderson is one of the most decorated Special Forces officers in the service. If he melted down all his medals, he could make a life-size statue of himself. You don't send a soldier like that on a do-nothing mission. He's treating this shakedown run too seriously. Something big is going on.
I wouldn't doubt it. What do you know about this Turian Spectre?
You don't trust Nihilus.
I don't like Turians in general. It runs in my family. My grandfather fought in the First Contact War. Lost a lot of friends when the Turians hit us.
And he's a Spectre, too.
Nihilus is no ordinary Turian.
You've got that right, Commander. We're an Alliance vessel, human military, but Nihilus doesn't answer to the captain like the rest of us. Spectres operate outside the normal chain of command. And they don't come along just to observe shakedown runs. Nihilus looks like he's expecting some heavy action. I don't like it.
Again, as I said before, I'll look into it.
I'll see if I can get some answers when I see him.
Good luck, Commander.
I grew up on Eden Prime, Doc. It's not the kind of place Spectres visit. There's something Nihilus isn't telling us about this mission.
That's crazy. The captain's in charge here. He wouldn't take orders from a Spectre.
Not his choice, Doc. Spectres don't answer to anyone. They can do whatever they want. Kill anyone who gets in their way.
Oh, you watch too many spy vids, Jenkins.
What do you think, Commander? We won't be staying on Eden Prime too long, will we? I'm itching for some real action.
I sincerely hope you're kidding, Corporal. Your real action usually ends with me patching up crew members in the infirmary.
The doctor's right, son.
Only a fool goes looking for a fight, Corporal.
Sorry, Commander, but this waiting's killing me. I've never been on a mission like this before, not one with a Spectre on board.
What do you know about Eden Prime?
You're from Eden Prime, aren't you, Jenkins? What's it like?
It's very peaceful, Commander. They've been real careful with development, so you don't have any city noise or pollution. My parents lived on the outskirts of the colony. At night, I used to climb this big hill and stare across the fields back at the lights from the main settlement. It was gorgeous. But when I got older, I realized it was a little too calm and quiet for me. That's why I joined the Alliance. Even Paradise gets boring after a while.
What do you know about the Spectres?
What do you know about the Spectres?
Only what I've heard. Spectre agents work directly for the Citadel Council. They usually work alone or in small groups. Spectres don't have any official power, though. Basically, they're a shadow organization with a mandate to preserve and protect galactic stability.
Protect it at any cost. Don't forget that part. Spectres operate above the law.
And there are no human Spectres?
Why don't we have any of our own people in there?
Spectres usually come from the Council races, like the Turians. We've been trying to get a human accepted into their ranks for years now. So far, it hasn't happened.
Hey, Commander, you'd make a good Spectre. You're a war hero, right? Held off an entire enemy fleet during the Blitz single-handed? That's the kind of talent the Spectres are looking for.
This is all just wild speculation. The Spectres aren't interested in recruiting humans, no matter how capable.
That kind of authority sounds dangerous to me.
How do you control agents with unlimited power?
I suppose the Council could revoke the Spectre status of an agent who got out of hand. At that point, Citadel Security Services would take over.
Those C-Sec grunts wouldn't stand a chance. The Spectres were 20 ordinary soldiers. The Spectres police themselves. An agent goes rogue, they send another agent to take him down. That's Spectre justice.
The Corporal's confusing romantic legends with reality, Commander.
Indeed he is. So what do you know about the Spectre Nihilus?
What can you tell me about Nihilus?
Turians are generally well respected by the other species. Their fleet has more patrols protecting Citadel space than any other. They don't always get on well with us, though. Some people find them too rigid. Others still blame them for the First Contact War. As for Nihilus, I haven't said more than 2 words to him. He usually only speaks to the captain.
I heard Nihilus once took down an entire enemy platoon all by himself. Man, I can't believe I'm on a mission with an actual Spectre.
I'm sure you'll do fine.
Just treat this like every other assignment.